Hi everyone, so we're on our chapter fractions, decimals and percentages today, chapter 2 of it. It's on page 114. All right, so here we are and we're looking at calculating a decimal of a number. So to find a decimal fraction of a number, just simply multiply it by the decimal. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the first one here. And it says find 0.04 of 175. Now, anytime you see of in maths, it means multiply. So of something, find something of, means multiply. So here we just multiply it out, okay? So I'm just going to do it here. So 175 multiplied by 0.04. Okay, so let's just do it out. 4 5s are 20. 4 3. Now, this is a very important thing. Once you have your answer done, then you count how many decimal places you have to put into it. So watch here. So 4 5s are 20. 4 7s are 28, 29, 30. That's 30. 4 1s are 4 and 3 is 7. Okay. So the answer isn't 700. It's really important you see how many decimal places there is. 1, 2. So you go in 1, 2 here and you put it in the same place in your answer. So your answer is actually 7 because it's 7.00. All right. Same goes with this one here. You multiply it out and you get that answer in the end as well. All right. So just try that. Do your multiplication for question 1. And then we're going to look, pause the video if you want, and then we'll move on to question 2. Question 2 is how to calculate a percentage of a number. Now, the easiest thing to do with percentages is to change them to either a fraction or a decimal and use a fraction method or a decimal method then. It's just the easiest way. So we're going to try the fraction method first. So if I was asked to find 75% of 60. Okay. Now, what we know from our little sheet from the first week, but I put it in again this week, is 75%. What is that as a fraction? It's 3/4. But here I'll show you how to work it out just in case you don't know how. So 75 as a fraction is always, it's going to be 75 out of 100. So there's my fraction. All right. And then I say, what could go into the top and to the bottom to simplify this fraction? So 25 will fit into 75 3 times. And will fit into 100 4 times. So that's how you get your 3/4. If you don't know that already, that's how we worked it out. So now what we're trying to do is find 3/4 of 60. Okay. Now we know that 4/4, the whole amount, equals 60. So how would I find 1/4? I would divide 60 by 4. Because we're dividing it into 4 parts. Sorry, now I'm just moving my chair. We're dividing it into 4 parts. So you divide 60 by 4 and your answer is 15. So 1/4 is equal to 15. How do you think we'll get 3/4? Exactly. We'll multiply that answer by 3. So we'll say 3/4 is 15 multiplied by 3 and the answer is 45. Okay. That is the fraction method, okay? So it's like you're saying the full amount is this. How do I get the smaller amount? Okay, now we're going to look at the decimal one, okay? So the decimal method is where you take your percentage, which is 75%, and you turn it into a decimal. Okay, so 75%, you know that 100% is 1.0. So therefore 75% is 0.75. There's your tens, there's your hundreds. All right, so 0.75. So we simply do like what we did in the first question 1, is we multiply 0.75 by 60. All right, so 5 multiplied by 0 is 0. 5 6s are 30. Right. Now we're keeping that in mind for the end, for the answer, the decimal point. We're just going to multiply it out now at the moment. So we're multiplying long multiplication. So we bring down our 0 here because we're multiplying our 7/10. So 7 zeros is 0. And then 7 6s are 42. All right. Add those all together. And we have 45 as the answer. Now, is that right though? Is the answer 4,500? It is not. We have to look at where our decimal points are. So it is 2 decimal points in. So 2 decimal points in. So the answer is actually 45.0045. All right. So that is the decimal method. Now, what they're asking you to do is try out each method. So let's try A first of all of question 2 there and use the fraction method. So we're asked to find 40% of 50. All right, 40% of 50. So we're going to use the fraction method. So we're going to turn this into a fraction. So how do we turn this into the fraction? Well, we know that it's out of 100. So 40 out of 100. Now, we can simplify that down, can't we? We can do 4 into 40, or 100 into 40. What am I saying? 10 into 40 goes 4 times. 10 into 100 goes 10 times. We know we can simplify that down again. What goes into the top and what goes into the bottom? 2. 2 goes into 4 twice. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So 40 over 100 is also known as 2/5 of 50. There's a little bit of working out first before you move on. So 2/5 of 50. So here we go. If we know that 5/5 is equal to 50, then by that we know 1/5 is equal to 50 divided by 5. All right. Now I'm going to use this other side of my little whiteboard here because I haven't enough space. So 1/5 is equal to 50 divided by 5, which is equal to 10. So what do you think 2/5 are going to be? 2/5 is equal to 10 multiplied by 2, which is equal to 20. So my answer there is 20. All right. So if you want me to help you with even the next one on, I'll show you the next one on as well, which is find 7% to 200. And we're using the fraction method. So let's try this again. 7% of 200. Okay. Here we go, 7% of 200. So what do? We make this into a fraction. So it's 7 out of 100, isn't it? Okay, of 200. So we're using the same method. 100 hundredths, we can't really break that down. So 100 hundredths is equal to 200. Okay, because we're working in hundredths. So therefore 100th would be equal to 200 divided by 100. Okay, which is equal to what? 2. So if 100th is equal to 2, 700ths is equal to 2 multiplied by 7, and those our answer then is 14. Okay, now there are 3 more there that I haven't done. Just look at question 3. It's 66 2/3. All right. So that is, as a fraction, you are going to have to multiply that by something to work it out. So I'll just write that up for you. So you're going to have to multiply it. Let's say we have 66 2/3. Okay, over 100. Okay, so what will get rid of that? So if I multiply 2 by 2 is 4, 2 by 2, 4/3, we need 6/3. So what do I multiply 2 by to get to 6? 3. So we're going to multiply this by 3. Okay, so 66 multiplied by 3. 3 6s are 18, 3 6s are 18, and 1 is 19. 198, and then if we multiply this by 3, so 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 is equal to 6/3, which is equal to 2. It gets a whole number out of it. Makes a whole number out of that. So now we have 198 and we have to add 2 onto it. So we have 198. So now we have 200 even. 200 even, We've multiplied this by 3 as well, over 300. So that's our new fraction, which is a big fraction, isn't it? Now we can break that down, can't we? We can go 100 into 200 goes twice, 100 into 300 goes twice. So it's actually 2/3. Okay, it's 2/3. 2/3 of 12. Here we are after all that rigmarole. 2/3 of 12. If 3/3 equals 12, then 1/3 equals 12 divided by 3 equals 4. So here we go. We're going over to our little corner again. So 1/3 is equal to 4. 2/3 is equal to 8. All right. Now, it's a hard one because you've got your half. This you're only going to have to multiply it by 2 to get rid of the half. Okay. So work that one out as well. Now, the decimal method. Let's look at the decimal method, which is, I've nearly done all of those on you. But try this one now. So the decimal method is just where you're multiplying it, okay? So we have to turn this into a decimal first. What is 60% of 50? So 60% of 50. All right, 60% of 50. We know this as a decimal is 0.6 of 50. And we know that of always means multiply. So we're just going to take 50 multiplied by 6. All right, 0.60 actually, 0.60, sorry, it's 0.60. Yeah, so we can just put down our 0 because 0 multiplied by everything is 0. So we're starting with our 10 straight away. 6 zeros is nothing, 5 sixes are 30. Now is the answer that amount? Is it 30,000? No, it's not. So what do we need to do now? We need to count our decimal point places. 1, 2. So 1, 2. So our answer is actually 30. Okay. All right. Give that one a go. Do the next one as well. Give it a go. Remember as well, 33 1/3 is actually 0.33. It's, if you want to turn it into a decimal, 0.33, which is 1/3 basically. What else have we got? You'll have to multiply that out as well, or else you can use the decimal point there. You can use the decimal to do it. Just remember to count your decimal places. Just give those a go now. You can use either method. You can either use the decimal method or the fraction method, whichever you want. It doesn't make a difference, okay? This is nice and easy. 50% of 3 kilometers, that's half of 3 kilometers. You may have to call that 3,000 meters. Okay. Now, down at the bottom here is one little problem they're giving you. 1,800 people picked their favorite pets. Work out how many picked each one. You can round off to the nearest whole number if you use the decimal method. So in other words, if you keep getting 0.44444, round it off to 0.44, round it off to the nearest decimal. Okay. So 33 1/3% are 33.33. So that is, you have to find that of 1,800. Okay. And then 21.5, you can find that. You can just multiply that by 1,800 as well to find. Give that a go, guys. See how you get on. And I'll talk to you for the next day. Okay, Slán.